Hello, everybody. It is already day 3 of the Picky Eating Challenge. I am so happy that you are here. I'm just going to clear up a couple things real quick as we're waiting for people to find me and get logged on here. I know a lot of you are coming over from the group. Some of you may be popping on just because you're a fan of my page. However you're finding yourself here, I want to make sure that you are signed up for the challenge, so that you're actually getting the emails also, so that you have a copy for yourself in your inbox. If you haven't done that, or you haven't been getting the emails, make sure that you go to yourkidstable.com/challenge. Okay, you can find that link right above this video. I think right now it might be below it, depending on how it's showing up in your feed, but the link is there. Also, I want to make sure if you are in the group and you haven't already, make sure that you like your kids table. That way, the next couple of days as we're doing more videos and there's more stuff popping up, you'll see this come up in your feed if you didn't remember that we were getting started at 1 o'clock. So make sure that you like your kids table too. That'll just be another helpful way to make sure that you're staying connected. Also, I wanted to tell you, if you are in the group, and you will get that information as soon as you sign up on how to find the group and getting connected there. Every single day, I will pin the strategy of the day, our lesson for the day, at the top of the group. So make sure if you're using your phone, you actually have to click to see the pinned post. But I want to keep it there so that everybody can find it. After this video airs, I share it in the group, and then I add the link to that post so that everything's in one place. I will also share the video in the group too, so you'll find both within the group there. I just want to make sure that you guys have access to everything and know how to find it. I know sometimes that stuff can get confusing, so I think that that's set for the logistics there. I did want to tell you guys, I also wanted to say that to keep up the amazing work, we're really starting to see wonderful progress coming through. Lots of people are starting to share the wonderful things that they're doing. I don't have the exact quote in front of me, but I know Jana posted earlier in our group today that a surprise had happened with her not pressuring her child to eat and sitting down at the table, that she felt more connected to her child and that they were actually spending quality time together. And it was just not what she was expecting, but it was like the surprise bonus that has come out of the whole thing. And I love to hear that. I mean, truly, that just makes my whole day. And I'm just seeing really awesome reports of all of the progress that each of your children are making. And remember that that progress looks different for each and every child, and that we're looking for any positive new thing that they're doing. So they're just coming to the table and having a good time. That is progress. That is fantastic. And for those of you that are sticking to it and haven't seen the progress yet, it is coming. Don't worry. And I know some of you are you're sticking with it, and that's great. It does sometimes take a little bit of time. And today's strategy is a really important piece of the puzzle. I mean, I feel like this is really huge and really game-changing for a lot of families. Because what I'm going to talk today is about it's probably the most important part of your routine. It's all about the when of eating. All right, and remember, if we think back to that division of responsibility, this is our job as the parents, okay? We're deciding when the kids eat. It's not their job. They decide how much they're going to eat. They decide whether they're going to eat, but we're deciding when, and we're deciding where. So yesterday we talked about where. Today we're talking about when. So today's major strategy is all about setting up a schedule for your child to eat. All right, now I know for some people that's already like, oh, don't talk to me about a schedule. I'm very type A, so I love schedules, but I know everyone does not feel that way. Everyone does not agree with me, and that's okay. There's a way to make this work for everybody's family, and I want you to know that this does not have to be super rigid. It does not have to be super difficult. It might be hard in the beginning, because anytime we change, anytime that we're growing and we're trying something new, it's uncomfortable, it's hard, and I feel that way too. So as soon as we start to change the way we're doing things, it can feel a little uneasy. that's okay, because that means you're growing and you're stepping out. So that's good. It's good. Truly, I tell you, it is good. But this is so super important today, is setting up the schedule. So what are we talking about here? Am I saying that breakfast needs to be at 8 o'clock and lunch needs to be at 12? No, that's not what I'm saying at all. The whole essence of setting up a schedule that really works for your child to give them the best appetites, that when they come to the table they're ready to eat, is to schedule their meals every 2.5 to 3 hours apart. So you're not worried about the time. It does not matter if it's 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock or whatever time it is. It does not have to be the same time every day. It likely will be if your child wakes up around the same time every day. The point is the interval. You want to give them a good 2.5 to 3 hours from the time that they start eating their meal until their next meal that they eat again. And here's the kicker, people. There's nothing but water in between those meals. Again, I can almost hear some of you sighing out there, because I know this is hard. I know it's really hard. It's challenging because there seems to be a logical kind of conclusion that for our kids that aren't eating, if we just give them whatever they want when they want it, we don't care. We just want them to eat. I get that. I think that like seems like the most logical conclusion, but we're actually totally sabotaging our next meal. This gives them the best shot at actually being hungry for their very next meal. And I have to tell you, I call this game changing. Okay, I call this game changing because I cannot tell you how many times I have worked with a family and I think, oh, okay, this is, we're going to have like a couple weeks, a couple of months before we, this seems like a very challenging situation. And of course, this is one of my top tips. So I'm thinking it's going to be a while, before we see some real like significant progress here. So they learn about this scheduling, and then I talk to them the next time, a week later, and they're like, actually, it's kind of funny. We're not having that much problem with their eating anymore. And I'm very confused and like, well, what do you mean? And they say, well, we just kind of stopped letting them eat whenever they want, and eating has gotten a lot better. So again, it does not happen every time. But when I say game changing, I mean, I have seen it happen plenty of times. And even if it's, not often the complete solution, it really causes a huge pivot and allows for more advanced strategies to come into play and really sets the foundation for healthy eating habits. So this is really an important strategy for all kids and crucial for our picky eaters. So here's the thing, the nitty gritty, right? You heard me say no water in between. So I know you guys are already thinking, and I've already seen questions, what does this mean? What does this mean for juice? What does this mean for milk? Milk is a bigger deal for our toddlers, right? Because a lot of toddlers are walking around having milk kind of all day because that's what they did when they were babies. It's really important if you're in that stage as a toddler, and sometimes older kids, you start paring those meals down. To include the milk with the meal. You can handle the milk a little bit differently. You can experiment with what's going to work for your family. You can give the milk at the end of the meal, only give a little bit of milk. You just want to be careful that doesn't turn into a pressure type of situation. You do have some options there, so think through what you're comfortable with, what your goals are, but make sure that you're working towards having that milk come with the meal. And I would say the same thing for juice. Depending on the kind of juice, some juices are so watery. Some kids can handle having a juice in between. But right now, as you're starting to make these big changes, I really want you guys to try to get those juice with a meal. So that would be the best solution for you guys. Now, I want to tell you specifically, I know I was kind of saying, talking a lot about, in general, the families that I've seen. But one of my students that's in Mealtime Works, my full picky eating course, Dana, she's actually in this challenge too. She's definitely motivated and a huge go-getter because she's like, I want to hear it all. Like it'll be a good refresher for me. So she hasn't been in the course long. She hasn't even worked her way all the way through it. And when she started, you know, she was putting up posts on our group board about how her son was hardly eating anything, was just eating a little bit of bites at food. She had some legitimate concerns about if he was getting enough nutrition, if he was putting on enough weight. It just seemed to be like he was not eating enough. So she worked on the pressure first, and that was a moment, but then this really helped change. And I actually think Dana put up a comment today on our post in the group about how this was truly a game changer for her. And one of the significant first progress that her son had was that he was starting to eat a lot at every meal. And it was, you know, a big change and a huge relief for Dana, because even just to have him sit down and eat a significant portion, a full portion of his preferred foods was tremendous peace of mind. And I love that. I love that. So that's the power that this strategy can have. Okay, so let me check. I have a couple of notes here, and I want to make sure that I'm getting to all of them, guys. Oh, yes. How could I forget? So I know there were a lot of questions about the milk and the juice. There was also, especially on Monday, a lot of questions about desserts and bedtime snacks. So I think that I'm seeing some of that in the sidebar here too. So I would say that for the desserts and the bedtime snacks, you can schedule those later after dinner. So you want to look at your schedule, and in your homework today, you got kind of a fill in the blank of how to set up your schedule. And I gave you a sample schedule of what my youngest James's schedule looks like, which is pretty much the same as his older brothers. I mean, they're in school now, so it's a little bit different. But it's a chance for you to kind of fill that in. And I know that that might seem silly to actually fill it in. And it's not, the point is not that you have to follow it literally and follow it exactly. The point is that it's going to make you think about how to start walking through this in your day. And it's going to hold you more accountable to following through on it. So if you haven't already, you can find that in the post that's pinned in our group at the very top, or in your email that you got. And copy that out or write it out by hand. I'm a person that likes to kind of go old school and write stuff out by hand. You could see right now, I know I should have like multiple windows open, right? But I like to have it written down. So write it down, type it out, put it in your phone, whatever, just as a really good reminder to you as to the direction that you're headed in. Now, I'll say this about desserts. You want to look at your schedule and see, can I make that a separate event later? Do I want to make that part of dinner? Both of those are two options. The one thing I want you guys to watch out for is that your child, if you have dessert so close to dinner that they know that it's coming every single night, they may not eat well if they know that that is coming. So think that through, how you want to handle that. Every family's dynamics are totally different, and one of the things that I'm really trying to teach, that I really hope that you guys are getting, I think you are from what I hear on the group board, is that I really strongly believe in these principles. I know you guys can tell that, but I feel that there is a little bit of gray area with each of them to make that it work for your family. For the type A personality that I am, I don't believe that any of this is black and white, because there are individual circumstances for each and every one of you. But taking the basis of what it is and making it work. For some of you, it will be following it very black and white to the letter. And that's fantastic. That's great. But for some of you, it may mean tweaking it a little bit to make it work. As I see some questions popping up here, like Patricia just said, milk affects the iron intake. That's why I don't do milk with meals. So for Patricia, that's an important factor. If it is for you, Patricia, then I would say to look at scheduling, maybe that's if he's going to have, or she is going to have all of their milk at a certain time, then to go ahead and make an event out of that. Like maybe that's, if they're going to drink like 2 cups of milk, which a lot of kids are more than capable of doing, maybe that's their snack. Maybe they're going to have that as one of their snacks. And maybe you need to tweak your schedule a little bit. Maybe you'll see that they're hungry. You only need to wait 2 hours after the meal because it's not as big of a meal. It's not as many calories. So there's definitely some wiggle room there to make sure that you're feeling comfortable with the things that are important for you and your family also. And I also see Patricia ask another question about what if they want ice cream, a piece of chocolate, or a cookie in between those times because they see someone else eating wherever there is. Okay, so this is a really good question. And we're going to get into this a little bit more on day 5, but I really think it's important if you're able to try to have everybody be on the same schedule, because if somebody else is having it, it's kind of fair game. And then you're going to sabotage the next meal. So again, that's something that you're going to want to think through. But if in my house, if we have a guest, if we have company, my husband or myself decides to pick something up and it's like 20 minutes after my kids are done eating or 45 minutes later and I'm eating it, I can't exactly tell them no. So that's not totally fair. And sometimes that happens. Like, that's life. So if that happens, I know now that I've just kind of messed up the next meal. Probably. Not all the time, but that does happen. So are you guys okay? Are you guys with me? How are you feeling about this strategy today? Give me a thumbs up if it's making sense to you, or a smiley emoji or something. Let me know if you're with me, and if you're having questions, pop them in there. I'm actually going to, I think I left my phone, and my Deanna, who's on my team, is helping me get the questions that are up further so that I get everything. So it's like 1 second away. So give me the thumbs up, guys. And I'm still right here. All right, I got my phone. So we are good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to make sure that I'm getting all of these wonderful questions, and Deanna is sending them to me so that sometimes when it's scrolling, I cannot catch them all. All right, guys, thank you for the thumbs up. This is fantastic. Really good questions that I'm seeing here. So I think I saw another one. Let me just scroll a little bit here. See, this is the problem. Sometimes they disappear on me. Jennifer asked, do they need those snacks though? My kiddos don't snack between meals anyway, so should I be adding them back in? Great question. Not necessarily. Okay, here's the other thing. If your children are eating well and they're a healthy weight and they're able to go past 2.5 to 3 hours, so they're not asking you. If it's 3 hours and your child is asking you to eat, you need to feed them. If they go 4 hours and they're totally fine, they've never said a thing to you and you guys end up eating 4 hours later, that's totally okay. That definitely happens in my house quite a bit, actually. And once they're in school, that happens a lot because they're not having snacks. So you absolutely do not have to add snacks back in if they're eating well and they have a good appetite when they come to their meal, and they're not breaking the like schedule by having some other kind of drink or picking at a couple little crackers or something like that. Okay, so let me see. Let's get to a couple more questions. Okay. I think I answered that one. Do they have to have snacks? All right, another great question. How do you handle tantrums that come with the changes? Okay, this is a fantastic question. For those of you that have younger children, 2 and 3, and maybe even 4-year-olds, like I was saying yesterday, you're probably going to see some tantrums. The younger, the more likely. Older kids may give you some attitude, some real attitude. So it just takes consistency and practice. It takes a lot of patience. For whatever age your child is, try to explain it to them as simply as you're able to. Break it down for them in a really simple way. Don't get complicated, but say, and I distract a lot too with younger kids. So if they're bothering me about eating, I kind of redirect them in another direction. For sure, I offer their water, and I always have the water out so that it's always accessible. So they don't even have to ask me for it, because water will actually help curb appetite as well. Okay, so another great question here. When kids say that they're hungry, but you know they just ate a snack, but they want another one before dinner, Okay, I know this is hard, guys. I know it's so hard to say no, but the answer is no. The one thing that I do sometimes, if your kids can handle it, is sometimes I will pull out fresh fruit or fresh vegetables, like raw ones, especially if it's while I'm preparing dinner. Those never fill up my kids' appetite, and most kids, they don't. And I'm more than happy to have them have plenty of fresh fruits and vegetables. Now, I don't turn that into a pressure thing like, well, you can have some fruit if you want some fruit. I, just kind of say, oh, I'm getting dinner ready. I'm already having the fruit out. If you want to start eating the fruit, you can start having some fruit. Or if you're really hungry, there's a bowl of fruit on the counter. You can pick out a piece of fruit right now, but I'll be getting dinner ready in about 20 minutes. Your water's right there. I say those kinds of things. Those are the types of comments that I'm trying to make to direct them. All right, guys. I mean, these are fantastic questions. I'm seeing really, really good progress updates here. I seriously, you guys are blowing me away. I'm so impressed with your commitment and how hard you guys are working for your families. It's wonderful. And I hope you know how sincerely I mean that, because I did not, this is far exceeded my expectations in the work that you guys are putting in, because change is hard. Change is hard, no matter who you are or where you are, and what type of change it is. It's hard for all of us, and you guys are making the changes. You're doing the hard work. So really good job. So Amy asks, oh, okay, Amy, I just answered your question. Deanna sent that to me. Shasta, I love it. Shasta says, if I'm wanting a piece of chocolate or something, I usually just eat it after my daughter goes to bed. Yes, I do the same thing. I kind of like, and then it's kind of a special moment for me. If there's something special that I want to have, I just kind of save it, or if I can get that in on nap time or something else, I try to do those things then. Of course, I do those with my kids too, but fantastic questions. Keep up all of your hard work. Tomorrow comes a really great strategy, and it's going to answer probably the last part of the major questions that you guys are asking about, and it's all about the what when it comes to meals. So this is so important. I will be back here at 1 p.m. Eastern again. Join me here. I will be in the group. I'm trying to be in there as much as I can. I hope I'm not missing comments. I am trying to get to everyone. Truly, I am. So be patient with me if I haven't gotten there yet, but I'm working hard to get to all those questions that are being asked. Remember that if you haven't gotten the emails and you haven't signed up yet in this challenge, it's yourkidstable.com/challenge. If you haven't liked Your Kids Table yet, make sure you like that so that you see the videos. And also, stay tuned, because Friday afternoon during the live, I have a special bonus for you guys to end the week on that I haven't told anybody about. So stay tuned for that. And if you're here, you'll be the first one to hear it. And also check your emails on Friday afternoon, because I'll have a special bonus email going out in the afternoon. So already halfway through the week. Fantastic job. Have a great afternoon, everybody.